elements tell us we're live.
Yay! All right, we are live.
Yeah.
Uh
Nice.
Episode 34.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of stuff I've been doing over the weekend and start of this week. It's crazy. My week so far, and one thing I wanted to share with everyone is that as promised, I was going to be working on some pets or companions, is what I'm calling them, for Space Marauders, and I've been working on them. And we'll probably share a little bit of that later on. Actually, a part of my um, mess around with my bean of the week to show some stuff.
Cool. Sneak
Um,
peek.
yeah. How is your week going so far, Kevin?
It's good. It's good. Usually my summers are really busy, and then as we start getting into fall and winter, I start to like slow down and hibernate a little bit. But
Nice.
it's it seems like it's still moving really fast. So a lot of things on the plate that I'm trying to clear off and cross off the to-do list. But
Hmm.
it's good. It's good. But you're right. We have a lot to talk about here. And actually, this past week, Amazon had a lot to talk about with their
Yeah.
September hardware release. Or I guess we'll call it
Oops.
announcement. Not all of them have been released.
That is true. Yeah, there are announcements.
Yeah.
Uh, um, you can go on. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
trying to get everything pulled up
So
here.
go for it. Yeah. So this could actually be a whole show itself. But
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
one of the first things that they released was something that I'm excited for is the Kindle Scribe. And this is
Really?
like a yeah, it's really cool. It's a Kindle, right? With
Hmm.
kind of the touch e-paper screen and a stylus, and you can write on it.
Not that one. There we
So
go.
there's
Right
a
here.
lot of different use cases for it, like note taking and digital note taking. So
Hmm.
it can actually load like a PDF with graphics and images on it, and then you can annotate them on there with the stylus and do some really cool things
Yeah,
like
and
that.
soon I guess Word is coming to it as well.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Um, so that's definitely like the first thing that caught my eye. It's 10.2 inches, 300 ppi. There's like a front light display that's adjustable, so different environments it'll look good in.
Nice.
And this is really nice too with the Kindles. You're charging your phone every day, every other day, but with the Kindle line, because they use that kind of e-ink or e-paper display, the battery lasts weeks and weeks.
Hmm.
So charging it isn't something you really need to think about all the time. It's ready
Yeah,
to go when you are.
do you
So
remember how long it was? I thought it was like 8 weeks or 5 weeks. It
um,
was like a long time.
so the gentleman Dave Limp, who was the senior VP for this,
Hmm.
he had a quote in there that just said weeks and weeks without ever having to think about charging. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, really cool.
Nice.
Um, so it is a little pricey. It's going to be 339 US dollars, and that includes the pen. And if you're in the US, I know we always do that, stipulation of US only thing. But if you're in the US, you get a Kindle Unlimited subscription for free for 4 months. So you
Nice.
get 4 month subscription for free. It's included with your $339 price tag. So
Yeah, I suppose.
yeah, really cool. Really cool. I'm not sure I'll pick it up right away, but it's something that I've used in the past and enjoyed using. So
Nice.
um I've used like different products like this. So um and so there were a couple other Kindles that were announced. So a Kindle and like an upgrade, like the newest generation. And then
Hmm.
there's also a Kindle Kids. So that's kind of nice to see them pushing the kid line a little bit, getting them into reading,
Yep.
um, and more of the tablet aspect. Trying to click through here. There was
So
a the
I was gonna
Halo.
say my favorite thing yet was the Halo.
Okay.
This is like an alarm clock. You don't have to wear it. It has no um, cameras on it. Uh, I forget how they said it. They did it, but it's crazy how they did
Yeah.
it. To and it tracks your sleep, and it seems amazing. I think I'm gonna get it for my wife.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So it kind of takes into account this kind of branch of health or whatever, but it's polysomnography,
Okay.
which is like poly is multiple or many, and somno is sleep, and graphy is, measurements and graphs. So it's taking multiple sleep measurements, and it's
Okay.
doing all these sensors to measure your movement, and I think there was sound involved too,
Okay.
maybe. I don't know if don't quote me on the sound part. I thought there was something they said about
I thought it
snoring, but
was
it might have
mostly
been
movement.
yeah, it might have been a joke or something. But yeah, the movement and environment in there too. I think there was a light sensor to kind of determine how much light was in your room and everything as well.
Mhm.
But it also works with various routines and security things too. So kind of nice that it's tying into this whole ecosystem, you
Right.
know.
Hmm.
That one's not released yet. It'll be released in quarter 4, so shortly.
Hmm.
And it was 140 US dollars. But you don't have to wear the band or anything like
Nope.
that if you didn't
Yep.
want to, which was cool.
Nothing to wear.
Yep. Um, Real quick, my second favorite is the fifth generation Echo Dot. Um, there's kind of three versions that you can pre-order right now. There's
Is
the
it
Echo
is it in
Dot.
this thing?
What's that?
Is there an image? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I can get you this link, which is also a good one. I will throw it. I think I can throw it in the Twitch chat
If you can throw it in the Twitch chat, yeah, that's great.
if mods don't. There we go. Perfect. So
Awesome.
there's this one as well that I had pulled up, and excuse me. So I'm excited for this one for multiple reasons. One is that they have the regular dot, which is
Mm-hmm.
$50. They have the clock version, which is $60, and then they have the Echo Dot Kids, and the Kids now comes in a purple dragon and
Yeah, I was
a
seeing that
turquoise
up here.
owl. So, and they also come with some new voices. But one of the biggest, um, so I guess the regular dot I should mention comes in charcoal, glacier white, or deep sea blue. And one of the new features is that um, they function as mesh Wi-Fi extenders for the
Yes.
Eero system, which is pretty cool. Again, they're tying this into that ecosystem. Um, so that's really
And actually,
fantastic.
the fours are going to get a free upgrade to be able to do that.
That's correct. Yep, which is really, really cool. Um, so there were basically two other things that I'll talk about briefly. One is in the Echo line, it's the Echo Studio, and it's being released in October for $200. And this one comes with uh, spatial audio and frequency. Like it's kind of the best
Oh yeah.
speaker kind that you can get.
Hmm.
And I do know that with your Amazon Music subscription, uh, there's a special tier that you need to subscribe to in order to get that spatial audio.
Uh,
So that's something to keep in mind. But there was that, and the Echo Auto, which is this is going to be the second generation for it. It's going to be 55 US dollars. We don't know the release date yet. I think there's a sign up to kind of be notified. But this is kind of interesting in that they're taking the next step or improvements on the Echo Auto, which
Hmm.
you have one, correct, Will?
Yep.
And do you
Yeah,
use it
I enjoy it.
often?
Yeah.
Nice, nice, cool.
I mean, when I use that car.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. Um, Other than that, there were some Fire TV announcements. Um, just some
Yeah.
new TVs. The Fire TV Cube.
I
This is
was
the third
impressed with
generation.
actually both the Fire TV Cube
Hmm.
uh seemed like a pretty nice upgrade, and then also the new Omni Q LED series Fire TVs look
Yeah,
amazing. Uh
yeah,
if
yeah. They're
I
really starting to do some pretty cool stuff with the TVs.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I didn't really get the point of is the new um, Remote Pro.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
I know I just saw it. I'm scrolling way too fast. Um,
No worries.
yeah, the Remote Pro. I wasn't too amazed by it, I guess, because it only works with the Omni Series TVs
Hmm.
uh, and then another version of TV. So it doesn't work with any of like the just the Fire TV sticks.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
I
I
think
thought
the
that was a
oh, go ahead, sorry.
downfall, I
Yeah,
guess.
I think the big draw of that everybody was kind of like, oh, that's kind of neat, was that you can locate it. Like if it falls between the cushions, you can
Hmm.
locate it by asking for it.
Hmm.
Um, and then it has backlight. So as soon as you pick it up, the backlight for the buttons pop up. So if you're like watching in the dark, that kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, nice.
But I kind of have that muscle memory. Where is my remote here? It's somewhere around here. Oh, right here. So
Oh,
I kind of have this muscle memory
yeah.
where I just kind of grab it in my hand and I know where these buttons are, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. The home button has a little bit of a raised
Yep.
nub to it, so I can always find that pretty easily and go wherever I need to be. So it really wasn't a big draw for me, but it's
Yep.
neat, you know, and
It is
it's
neat,
progression of the technology.
I guess. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Um, just to wrap this up real quick, a couple of things that they announced too were some networking with that Eero system. So they came out with, I believe it's Wi-Fi 6 now, and it's a
Hmm.
mesh router system. So you get the little pods, and
Yep.
then there's a PoE, so Power over Ethernet gateway
Oh yeah,
that
that was
you
pretty
can also pick
powerful.
up. Yeah, supports speeds up to 10 gigs per second. And then PoE is always a nice feature to have, power over Ethernet.
Yeah.
So you get 100 watts output, which is, yeah, I mean, that'll do the job, right?
Right.
So, then there were a couple Blink things. So Blink is their kind of security cameras stuff,
Hmm.
and they have a floodlight camera now, or an updated one,
Yep.
and you can uh, pull that up on your show devices. You can view the feed that way. And then they have a Blink Mini Pan Tilt, which is kind of just a desktop unit, and you can turn it. It's just a Blink camera on top there that kind of moves up,
Hmm.
down, left, and right. So pretty neat. Um,
Wonder
to
how that
round
would
that
work
out,
for like a streaming camera.
it'd be kind of neat. I think.
Yeah.
I I don't know resolution, but I want to say 1080p.
Okay.
I would think. Um,
Yeah.
HD quality
Yeah.
type stuff. But yeah, that'd be kind of neat to be able to do that for streaming. Um,
I
and the
I
last thing I'll say,
oh
what's
yeah,
that?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Last thing I was gonna bring up was the panic button 2.0. If you saw that, um, kind of like a thing that just sticks on your wall, and it's a panic button.
That's for Ring, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ring. Yep. It ties into your home's security system, and you can configure it in different ways to respond to like medical or
Right.
fires, things like that.
Yep.
or police or whatever. So pretty cool. Um,
Yeah,
Nice to see them have that event. It uh, there's new stuff coming down the line, and I'm always up for that. So
for sure. Yeah, so
pretty cool.
I grabbed my little camera, and I've been trying to play around with it
Uh-huh.
lately. That one also has a tilt zoom and all the kind of stuff.
Right.
But I haven't obviously hooked it up for this. So I don't know if it will be able to do that either. So we'll see.
Oh, cool.
But
Play
anyways,
around.
let's move on
Sure. Sure. So
to
last week we left off kind of giving a general overview of like an Alexa skill, the basic components of an Alexa skill. And this time we're actually going to jump into a little bit of coding. We're going to jump into a little bit more terminology and make a little bit more progress on this cake time skill. So,
for
um,
sure.
while you get a second to pull this up, I'm going to run through the five best practices that
Yep,
are mentioned in the tutorial. And so the first one is to stay close to Alexa's persona. And by this, they mean that Alexa's kind of this fun, upbeat, kind of helpful assistant. And so you want to stay close to that. You want to have a very conversational tone whenever you use some of the responses. You don't want things to just be yes, no, very bland. You do want to have that little extra pizzazz to it that really ties together with the personality point of Alexa. So that's one point there. Um, the second point that they mention is to write for the ear and then for the eye. And this makes sense. We're doing voice, and voice is very informal. There's a lot of inflections in my voice. There's a lot of slang sometimes. There's a lot of ums and pauses and uhs, different different tone and mood that can be conveyed through voice. And so to have that in your responses is advised. Um, and then after that foundation is established, you can always jump back and add some visuals, like using APL and all that. So, but their recommendation from Amazon is to first write for the eye, or excuse me, write for the voice, the ear, excuse me, and then for the eye. The
Wh-
next is to be
where are
contextually
you
relevant.
getting this from? Which
This came from
module are you on?
the second one, I believe.
Second one. Okay,
I can.
I was making sure I was in the right place.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no worries. So, be contextually relevant is the next one, and that's kind of difficult to explain, but almost common sense whenever you're doing this, whenever you're developing your skill. You want to have your answers relate to the topic or the point that you're trying to get across. So we'll dig more into that as we go. Um, this one I struggle with, as is probably obvious, but it is to be brief,
Yeah.
and that can be very difficult whenever you are trying to convey a lot of information or multiple options that you have to do through voice. You don't get that graphical experience all the time where you can just see your options. You need
Hmm.
to express those options through voice, so it can take a little bit longer. But one of the recommendations is to be brief. And that makes sense because too many options all at once just sounds like word vomit, which I am guilty of. But the last part is to write for engagement and to increase retention. And the examples that they give are, and we can break these down in a little while, but The first time that you use a skill should be related but different to return visits. So in that first time that you visit, you really want to give a good breakdown. And then the next time that you return to that skill, you almost want that memory of, hey, I remember who you are. I remember what you were doing. Here's where we can pick up, or here are your options. And so that's what they mean by being contextually relevant. So keeping those in mind, we're gonna start jumping into some skill development at long last. At long last.
Yeah. Uh, so I'm going to run through how to create a skill. It's pretty simple. Um, uh, we're going to do it within the dev console. Um, so we're going to follow these steps here, which is module 3. Um, and um, yeah, we'll let's get to it. So
All right.
I'm already logged in, so that's one step you obviously have to do.
Mhm.
And then once you get to this skills tab here, you will have, if you don't have any skills, um, like this account does not, you will have this create skill button here and a create skill button here. It doesn't matter which one you click, you just click one of them. We'll enter in our skill name, and it's going to be called uh, Bean Time.
There we go.
Um, and uh, we can discuss locales and all that stuff later. But this is just where your skill is going to be available for.
Mhm.
And then what are we doing? I believe it's a start from scratch.
Yes. Yep.
This has not been updated. Okay, um, so yes, we're going to use a custom,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
So I'm
and we'll use Alexa hosted to make it similar or simple for the viewers, and to also show what we can do with that. Then you just
yeah.
click create skill. Um, oh, here we go. Start from scratch.
Yep. So you're right. This hasn't been. It's not a one-to-one kind of walkthrough. So it's not like you can take this tutorial and specifically look for the same screenshots that they're going through. So we'll kind of make some notes on some differences as we go through. But
And there's also
mostly,
other templates that you can pick from here as well. Like the
mhm,
conversations, that's a type of skill that you're having a conversation with. That is would be a great template to start from if you're using that. Or there is many other ones. What is Pet
absolutely.
Tails?
Pet Tails is kind of like your uh, one creation a while ago, in a way. It kind of walks you through almost like a story type of thing, but choosing a pet.
Really? Hmm,
So it's kind of
interesting.
a so and I'm not sure. Don't quote me,
I'm
but
pretty
I
sure
feel like
my
this
skill
is
was called Pet Tails too.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. So I think what Pet Tails is side tangent, but I think what it is the precursor to stories almost with like
Okay. Okay.
options and choosing and things like that. Uh, don't quote me, but there I think there's some similarities there.
Okay. But anyways, now it's going to build everything.
Mhm.
Like we talked about last time. We talked about the Dynamo. We talked about the S3. We talked about the Lambda. It's building all those, making sure they fit together, so you don't have to worry about it. It's simple, and it just works right out of the
Yeah,
box. Um, and we can then start a build or typing code. It said the build is completed, but there is some other stuff that it has to do.
right, right. And this
All
this
right.
can definitely take some time.
So yep, and this is all the stuff that we did. Oh no, we haven't
So
done this step yet.
this step's a little different, and I'm kind of gonna be your backseat driver in a way, but this step's a little bit different. Once we get into the developer console itself, we can change the skill invocation name. So,
So here we are. You know what? I never shared. I forgot I never shared my screen with you.
so I can't see it from the Streamlabs side, but I can see it on Twitch. So
Oh,
um,
you're viewing on Twitch?
I have multiple monitors. I've got like a control system going here. So when I say I'm a backseat driver, I'm right here with you, strapped in.
Nice. I think that now you should be also be able to view it on the Streamlabs. But anyways, um, so we have our on the left side is pretty much all your menus. Besides, there's some on the top. We'll get to that. But we have the invocation, which we'll change here in a minute. Your interaction model, which is uh, your intents. Intents are um, um, like steps, I guess. It probably describes this in the next module, but it's like steps that you're taking to interact with the skill.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then there
So
is assets, which hold slot types, and that those are specific words that you would say to activate an intent. Um, and there's multimodal responses, interfaces, which have to do with multimodal responses, endpoints, that's beyond the scope of this. Models, I don't really know what models is, uh, beyond the scope of this. Permissions, that is something I'll just quickly go over. It's pretty much just what you want to share. You want the user to share with your skill. So if you don't have anything that you don't want them to share, that's great. You don't have to have any permissions. But if you want to have their first name or given or full name or given name, that would be you have to get their permission, and they would have to actually click on it when they activate your skill.
right,
Last thing will talk about is in skill purchases. Those are things that people would buy with real money for your skill. So let's go back to the invocation name. So this is what the user will say to get to your skill.
hmm
And what do we call it? Bean time.
correct. Yes,
Uh,
because it you can also see. So there's
oh,
a difference, and this is important. There's a difference between what you first set up with what you're calling your skill, in the fact that we started off with bean time when we went through the whole build
yes.
process versus what the skill invocation name is. There is a difference there.
Yep.
I typically keep them the same,
Right.
but there
But you
are
don't
different
have to. You don't have to.
exactly. Exactly.
So, yep. Um, so this is going to build a little bit. We have to have that but we can go to the next step.
hmm
So we're going to add a greeting is our first step.
Yep. So this might be a little bit different as well, but we're gonna click whenever we can. We'll get into the code tab. Excuse me. And that's going to open up kind of a code editor if you're familiar with those. And there's an excuse me, good grief, index.js file, or there's a lambda underscore function dot python file. So depending on whether you are developing your skill in JavaScript or Python is going to determine which which one the code editor or has available.
And I'm more savvy with Node. Um, so
Okay.
I'm building it in Node. Um, and this was talking about at the beginning here, um, all your all your meat and potatoes is going to go in the handle function, or yeah, function right here, and then the can handle function has your intents and what did they say?
So
Um,
the the can handle part is where you define what
oh,
request the handler
yeah,
is
you
going to
request to handle
respond to.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Duh.
it helps to say it a little bit slower because you and this is a common theme when you code is you're thinking like handler and can handle, and then you have these different pieces and they're using the same terminology
Hmm.
where the handle function returns a response. So we've
Correct.
got some terminology, but we are going to assume a little bit of uh, foundational code ability here on this
Yes.
end.
Yes, we will. Um, so yeah, it will return a response, and the response is built with this chunk of code right here. You'll have a speak, you'll have a reprompt. You don't have to always have a reprompt. We can go into that a little bit later. And then you have to have a get response. Um, so you could do this and it would work, but you cannot do this. It would not work.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so you have to have the speak and the get response in your response builder. Um, um, to have it respond to you correctly. The reprompt is simply reprompts the user after a certain amount of time goes by. I think it's like 10 seconds, maybe it's 5 seconds. I can't really remember. Um,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
um, but a certain time goes by and then it tells whatever you put in here. Right now we just have it speaking out the same thing, the welcome. You can say help or hello or help, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
um, so it'll repeat it to the user.
Yeah.
Now if you let's say wanted to change that, you could definitely put any type of string in there,
Hmm.
any verbiage that you want in there. Um, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Um,
And there are certain cases where you do want a different reprompt. Maybe it wasn't clear from the first set of the first can handle part or whatever.
right,
But
the first speak
then you
out,
want to yeah, yeah. So maybe
then
you
you
want
want
to
to
say it a
change it
different
up
way.
exactly.
Yeah.
Say it a different way. Um, the other thing I wanted to say about the reprompt is uh, it is great for keeping the session open. And uh, you will want to keep the session open if you want the users to be still in your skill and doing stuff with it. If you do not want the user in your skill anymore, you're just telling them something and that's it,
Yeah.
then you can leave off the reprompt. It will not reprompt, and it won't keep the skill open. It will close the skill right at the end,
Right.
right after that. So that's important to know.
Yes.
Um,
Good point.
so yeah, uh, welcome to Bean Time. Where have you been?
There you go. We're getting super punny.
I don't think funny is the right word. Uh, I'll just show you that I saved that little string of text right up here with a save, and then I have to hit the deploy. This is deploying this chunk of code that I have right in front of me to Lambda. It is not the same thing as we did on the build tab. Um,
Right.
and I kind of glanced over that. I just realized um, when I went over to the code tab. So these tabs here, the build tab, that's where we changed the invocation name, and I ran through all those menus on the left hand side. Um, the code tab, obviously, if you have it Alexa hosted, it is built in. You have your code editor built in. Uh, and then there's the test tab, which we'll do here in a second. Um, and we'll test our skill. And to show you exactly this works, distribution is to get your skill ready to distribute. Certification is to certify your skill. And analytics is for analytics tab. So,
Perfect.
um, one other thing before I move on from this tab. So we have this Lambda folder here.
Hmm.
This, uh, as Kevin earlier stated, you'll have this index.js. You also have your package.json. This holds all your dependencies. This is very important for those who want to get savvy and want to add many different modules or dependencies
Exactly.
to your skill. You'd have to do it this way. You have to add it right into this package.json because when I deploy, it also builds the skill. So it grabs all those dependencies and builds the skill, and then it deploys it. Um,
Well
uh,
said. Well said.
One other thing is this util. If you have images, which later on we will have images, believe it or not, we will get there eventually. Um, this is ideal for grabbing those images from your S3. So, well, I'm just glancing over everything, but that's pretty much what you need to know in this as the code that we have now. Let's go over to test tab.
Yep.
All right. Exciting. Let's close all these X's out of here. Get
Take your
out of
time.
here. Skill name can be used as an invocation name. What?
Did it? Did it say your skill name
I don't know if
cannot be used as an invocation name?
I don't know.
I'll have to look it up. So, yep.
Welcome to Bean Time. Where have you been?
There we go.
Nice. So there, yep. That's we changed that text and we deployed it.
Hmm.
Um so uh that is pretty much what we did right here. We just changed it up a little bit. I went through the reprompt. I went through the get response, how important it was.
Yep.
I deployed it. I clicked save. I deployed it. We discussed where the test tab was, the build tab, all those things. Now, um,
Yep. And just to clarify, you did select development whenever you were in your
oh
build
yes,
tab. That was
that
important
is
to kind
correct.
of make
But
note of.
also, uh, you will have a live option here um,
Hmm.
when it's live. But if it's
Right.
not live, you only have development. So yes, good point out there.
Yeah, perfect. So the test tab is something that you'll be in quite often whenever you make a change and then you flip back and you check it out. You can always type it in there. I
Hmm.
think there are some different extensions and things that'll allow you to have some shortcuts in
So
there as well.
there is a built-in one. There is a
Oh,
built-in
that's
one
right. That's
that
right. They did update
that
that.
is useful. You just click on that little plus and it adds the utterance to here, to
Mhm.
this little drop down here. Um, the the other thing I'll touch on while we're in this test tab, you have this manual JSON I've never used in my life, but you have this voice and tone. This is great for testing out how a sentence sounds. If you don't want to build your entire skill uh, and to hear how it sounds, you can come over to this test tab and then voice and tone, and um, you can put whatever you want in there, and you can really mess around with this SSML.
Yeah,
Um,
which is speech synthesis markup language for those who needed to know.
Thank
But
you. I didn't even know that.
that's okay.
Um,
Yep.
so,
Yep. Yeah,
uh,
there's a whole document which I'll throw
yes,
in the chat
yes,
on
please, yeah. That
on this.
document is amazing. You can do so much with it, and it's great document
It's fun
to
to play with too.
yes.
Yeah. But if you're looking to add a little bit of a pause in there, or if you're looking to get really excited, those types of things, you can do that with SSML fairly
Also
easily.
change the voice of
Hmm.
the speaker. Um, right now we just have it normally A's voice. Um, so the but yeah.
Perfect.
Um,
Yeah, good to make mention of. So we're getting there. We're getting the foundations of our skill here. We've changed our prompt, and we did mess with our reprompt there.
why do they
Um,
tell us to change it earlier and then change it again?
I just saw that as I was coming through here. This looks more modern to me.
Yeah.
Um, this this looks like the
So
new.
I think they kind of skipped over
Yeah,
that first tap
yeah.
or step one. But anyways, not a big deal. Yeah, we'll get we'll continue on next time
Hmm.
on wrap up.
Sure.
Nope.
Well,
We'll
we
skip
we could
that.
do
We'll
this.
probably go to module 4.
That sounds good. Let's do that test real quick. So, just this kind of helps with some terminology
Mm.
that we've gotten into. So, an invocation phrase is A, the welcome speech that Alexa gives at the beginning of the skill. B, the phrase the user asks the phrase the user uses to ask Alexa to launch the skill. Or C, the term for any phrase that the user speaks to the skill. So I stuttered a little bit there, but invocation phrase is B. The phrase
B.
that yep, yep, it's the phrase that the user
Bing, bing,
uses to
bing.
launch the skill. So you're invoking, you're setting up, creating that thing.
All right, I'll do
Um,
number 2. Is the JavaScript or Python code in your AWS Lambda the front end VUI or back end data access layer of your skill? So is it your front end or your back end? Pretty much.
yeah,
That
that's
was
what it boils down to. It's
horrible.
definitely
So yeah, uh, is it your front end, your visuals, or is it your back end?
yes, exactly.
And this is kind of, uh, but yeah, it is your data access layer. Um,
Yeah.
so this is where you're accessing data and then doing stuff with it. So yeah, you we later on will be doing some visuals, but that is actually more in JSON. But still, it's code that we write in.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's kind of
It's
uh
gray.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, this last question is perfect for kind of a wrapping up, well-rounded thing. So at the beginning of the stream, I talked about the design practices, right? And I said that you need to match Alexa's tone, Alexa's personality, right? So, which tone should you use when you script responses for Alexa? A, aloof and impersonal. B, friendly and conversational. Or C, formal and rigid. So, it's definitely a B. I better check my stuff
Bing,
here.
bing, bing, bing.
Yep, it's definitely B. And you want to be friendly and conversational, and match that personality. So,
Yep, for sure.
um,
Great.
I think that's a really good place to end it. Next time,
Yeah,
what we're gonna get into are slots. So, I'll probably start off by breaking down what a slot is, how they're used, and then we'll show you some real world examples of really getting into it.
nice. Love it.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Um,
Alrighty. So, um, nope, wrong one. That one. Bean of the week. If you want to do yours first, so I can I'll pull up yours.
yeah, sure. I actually have mine right here.
Oh, cool.
So I picked up this game. It's called so the let me think. So this is kind of an expansion or a flavor of it, but this is Flux, and it's a
Okay.
card game. So this is actually the Marvel version of Flux. So it's got the Marvel theme to the actual card game. And I'm gonna flip it over here, and it's very simple, but the rules change all the time based on maybe if I have a little bit of a glare. Hold on, sorry. Maybe you can see that. So the rules
Okay.
change a little bit based on what cards you're going after. And so when you're playing in a group, so you might have a strategy that just gets blown out of the water because somebody else took the cards you needed, or the cards you had isn't available for the category that you're trying to get, type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, it's super simple to pick up and play. It's 2 to 6 players. It's recommended ages 8 and up, but either I have a really advanced 5-year-old, which if he's got my genetics, he's not. But sorry, bud. But he's picked it up pretty well, and he kind of he I think he lets me win because he doesn't always get the strategy involved. But it's a really good, quick little card game, fun. A lot of cards in here. There's actually 107 in this edition that I picked up, which was a collector's edition.
Nice.
So there's kind of expansion cards in there a little bit. But it's called Flux. It's the Marvel edition of Flux. And if you like your card games or you have a board game night with your family, really good pickup.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
cool. Um, I don't think my wife would let me get another Marvel board game, but
Uh,
it's still pretty
what
cool.
would happen if a package just showed up on your
I
door?
mean,
Return
that
to
might
sender.
work. uh, but so mine is I'll switch back to desktop. Is another Humble Bundle. Um, uh, I I'm gonna show you what Paint Shop Pro 2021 looks like. I just realized I had 2021 and not 2022. But this is an excellent bundle. You get a lot of great stuff. I mean, the Paint Shop Pro is worth it in itself. Painter
Yeah.
is $429. I don't use
Wow.
Painter as much, but still, it's $429.
Huh.
And you can get it all for uh, probably $30. Uh, yeah, and you get a bunch of art, brush packs and stuff like that. Um, Also, a Video Studio Pro. It's just their video studio. It's not too bad. Um,
Okay.
but I love Paint Shop Pro. Um, it is one of my favorite tools. I do all my editing. I don't think it's meant for this, but I still use it for all my editing of images. Um, so this is just a image of a companion I created. Um, he does look huge, but don't worry. He's like, it's supposed to be like this big. Oh, sorry, this big in the game. So he's supposed to be a little guy, and he does have a little cannon on him. But yeah. So one
And this
thing I
is coming
wanted.
to Space Marauders, right?
This
That's what
is
you were
coming to
saying.
Space Marauders. Yes.
Perfect. Pretty cool.
Um, One thing I really love about this is that they have the AI stuff in here. One thing you can do is you can smart fix to really customize it. You can do this one step fix, which I'm going to do right now,
Okay.
and boom, it automatically brightened it up and did a
Yeah.
bunch of other stuff with colors. Other things you can do is why am I not seeing it? Oh yeah, it's over here. You can do effects. This is not it. Oh, it's right over here. I'm a dork. There's all these different things that you can do with it. You can make a impasto version of it. You can see the what it would look like up
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
A pointism. I can't. I don't know art. Pen and ink. There it is. I mean, it's so cool. You can do all these different things with it.
Yeah.
Or I I've done like this backlighting, improve the backlighting of an image. It's so many different AI effects that you can do. And another thing that is pretty cool, you can do this AI denoising or one step noise removal. Or
Okay.
if you want, let's say, I want this image on a t shirt, but it's only, I think it's 1080p. So 1920 by 1080. This is what the gray image portion of it is. But I want it larger. I want it on a t-shirt, right? Because this guy's pretty cool, right?
Right.
And
Right.
but the thing is, you cannot have a 1920 um, uh, on a t-shirt. It would look horrible. You have to have it very, very large.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so we'll do it 300%. We're going to increase it 300%. Uh, that's a pretty good DPI for a t-shirt. I don't want it photorealistic. I want an illustration, but it's going to be AI powered. You can really reduce the noise reduction if you want to. I This is the sweet spot for me. Also, GPU acceleration. So if you have a decent GPU, this will speed it up a lot. And you just click that button. It's resizing it, denoising it, all that jazz, all in one click, and
Yeah.
boom, we have this huge image. Now this is a 4,000 by 3,000 some
Yep.
image, and look at the detail. Look at the detail.
That's fantastic.
I mean, it is amazing.
Yeah.
And you can put it on posters. Like I'm gonna have my poster down here. But you can put on posters. You can put on T-shirts. It it just works. It's the best tool you can get. So I can't say it enough about Paint Shop Pro. Uh, get that Humble Bundle. It'll be well
Yeah.
worth your while just for that. That's my own point of view, but
I
you can take it or leave it.
I think you convinced me. Recently I've been doing some video and photo editing a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, just trying to get my feet under me with that. A, a really good smartphone with a really good camera, and so I have that. I have my DSLR over here,
Yeah.
and I was trying to be better, about using things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I might have to pick up some better software now at this point.
Nice. Love it. But anyways, that's all I got. I guess shout out again for Space Marauders. Play it. I want you to play it. Play it.
Should we
Uh,
play it? We
yeah.
should play it.
You can always reach out to me at I thought I pressed a button, but at WRONGHOLT on Twitter. Um, how about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at KJEVANS 2787. So at KJ Evans 2787. Always up for a conversation. Doesn't always have to be voice, but um, yeah, really looking forward to if you're using or following along with Cake Time, maybe jumping ahead of us even, and you run into a headache or find some terminology that you're not familiar with. Definitely let us know. We can walk you through some things.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good point. Or like we call it, bean time. All
Yeah.
right, it's been a good time. Being a good time streaming with you guys. Um, have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Bye, all.